Batman, please help me. I'm stuck. I'll get you, Robin. You're squirming. I wanted to start off this episode by introducing our guest host of the week, Petra Bigelow, patched in from California. Say hi, Petra.
Hello, and I would like to introduce you to my friends here at Generic Loot Box.
Works.
This is Joseph Banuelo. Say hi, Joey.
Yeah, boy! Yeah.
Oh, wait, your name's Banuelos? Do you have a, cousin named Richie by chance?
I have he's like a third cousin? Something like that.
In California?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Dope. I know him.
Oh, really? Okay.
What?
I never met him. Never met him, but he's like a third cousin or something like that. Because, I have family in, California and, Florida and, obviously Mexico with the same last name. I know their names, but I don't know them.
You're, obviously Mexico, and I'm I thought that was Portuguese. I don't know where anyone's names come from. I only recently found out my last name is apparently, British, which is weird, because we're not British.
Yeah, they have the Bigelow tea brand. At the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bigelow was
doxing me, Dolores.
Sorry.
My last name, we have a castle in Spain. One of these days, I'm going to reclaim that castle. One of these days.
Can I say curse words?
Yes, you can say swear word.
I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if this was a wholesome family podcast.
No, we talk about a woman. If you listen to the other podcasts, we get a little ribald, because it's late night show. Kids are asleep, having a glass of wine, listening to 30-year-old teenagers podcast.
Yeah. So, anyways, I feel like we should approach the subject of Braceface, a really, really great yet dumb show from Canada where they talk about developing film with chemicals, using tape, keeping money in their shoe for some dang reason.
Yeah.
And
that's a classic moment.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. That's just season 1.
Oh, so wait. So we were diving into the junior high of Pitchfork.
Pitchfork? It's Mary Pickford.
Pitchfork, whatever. It's the same thing. Whatever. So okay. I was a bit confused here. Was this show around for 3 seasons or 6 seasons?
3, but 2. Was it? No, I heard 3, and Tubi splits it up into 6 seasons. And maybe it depends on where you were. Because Wikipedia, the official Wikipedia listed 3 seasons, but I think depending on what province or in the United States state that you were in, they split it up into 6.
I was going to say, it's really interesting to me how, especially with animation that is geared towards children, it gets valued a lot less. That information can get a little muddy because nobody gives a dang to actually save it.
Yeah.
So we end up with this weird cartoon from Canada from 2001 that is is it 3 seasons? Is it 6 seasons? I don't remember. I was in 1st grade when I watched this the first time, and I didn't have the greatest grasp on the concept of television seasons.
I'm going to tell you, I was in 9th grade when this came out, so this was geared towards my age group, and it was still, really hard to follow when I'm watching this in real time.
Well, while I watched it, let me just say that I was definitely more of an As Told by Ginger type of gal. That was my shit.
Yeah, it was As Told by Ginger was a quality show. And I imagine the people who saw As Told by Ginger, because that came on a year or so before this, were we got to do it. We got to get in on this girl train. But it's what's our budget? $10. And we just we have attached Alicia Silverstone, and that has reduced our budget by negative $1,000. We need to figure this out. And I wanted to give a little background to what was going on in girl media at the time. Basically trying to capitalize on the girl power movement, quote unquote, of the Spice Girls. But they only wanted to empower a certain type of girl, which was usually thin, white, and had magical powers because Harry Potter was big and so was Sabrina. You had Lizzie Mcguire, who had her magical cartoon persona. That's So Raven, which came out a couple of years after this, which was a wonderful addition to the set of girls shows that was coming out. It was pretty fucking white. Yes, ma'am.
I would actually like to interject and say, to me, I feel like a closer comparison a few years following this, then I think it's more closely related because it's in that, like, preteen to early teen animation block would be the Proud Family, which is, to me, that was being a child in that time period. And like that, I feel like that was the first time I remember seeing any piece of media geared towards me where the characters didn't all just look exactly like me. I'm a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white lady. Like, it's the people on TV, they tend to look like me. That's what the heck they do. The Proud Family, oh, hey, look, they're, like, actually just making a show, and, like, these people are black, and it's not, like, they weren't, like, being weird with it or gross with it. It wasn't, like, something weird.
I never, like, watched that show, but for me, like, going like a different way, Family Matters was like the first show that really gravitated towards me that wasn't typical white person, you know, type scenario. But like Proud Family, they were solid. It seems pretty good.
I was 5'4" in the 5th grade and like 150 pounds. And so none of the children, none of the other 11-year-old girls looked like me on television. When I remember watching the TV show Braceface when it came on, and I was hyper jealous of Sharon. Just like, how could she have any problems? She had braces. And that was the main point of Braceface. You have this beautiful 14-year-old girl going into 8th grade and then eventually high school. And her flaw was, oh no, I have to have braces. Lame.
Yeah. There was also, oh my goodness, there was I was really happy that they went another direction with it, but I'm sure we'll touch on this later. Right before the eating disorder episode.
Oh, God.
Children's cartoon. Which, I mean, I'm glad they touched on. I was surprised at how well they handled that. But right before that, there was the, like, oh, goodness, the, like, boys calling her fat. And that's exactly it. This character is this, like, little rail of a thing. And they're, like, having the other characters, like, call her fat and make fun of her because, oh, look, you still got your baby fat.
I'm glad that, like, as the series went on, Nina was kind of just faded into the background, and they came out with more mega bitches. Like, they had this, like, hot, popular guitar playing girl who wanted to be a TV3 VJ, which I guess was Canadian MTV. And
like Monster of the Week Scooby-Doo style, but with high school bitches.
Yeah, like this show. Let's talk a little bit about the mega bit. So they had on the period episode, Worst Date, period, which I still can't believe this episode was written by women. I read it three times that it was written by women. I would have told you anything this was written by men. For one thing, they portray Sharon, her mother, as this like really nice, like attentive mom. But Sharon gets her first period cramps, and her stupid friend Alden, whom she has a mega crush on, guys, has to take her to the hospital. And during the middle of this episode, Sharon is dealing with Nina, who will just not stop She is merciless, and Sharon gives into it every time. And Maria, who I feel was not given the love she should have gotten. Like, Maria was always the voice of reason, was smart, funny, and athletic, and a wonderful character. And she's like, Sharon, you're only giving her the power. She only has the power that you give her. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And that's really good advice for women who have to deal with Ninas for pretty much their entire lives. Like, there will always be Ninas. There will always be women who try to get your goat. Like, hey, Sharon, I saw that you are kind of muted on the Zoom call today and nobody could hear you. Ugh, God, it must have been so embarrassing for you. And like things like that. And people only have the power that you give them, which is a huge message about the Nina character that the female writers in the show were trying to tell young women. Like, you're going to deal with this your entire life, so you need to figure out how to handle it now.
I felt like when the show like first came out, I didn't watch it. I was watching it just like past like 2 weeks now. Compared to most cartoons, especially like cartoons, I think it was important storytelling, you know? That's all.
Are we going to talk about the episode Busted? Where she blows a literal titty. Like, this thing just goes kaboom.
As soon as you mentioned it before we started recording, I just had the flashback to like 2002 or 2003. Like, I feel like even as a child, I'll be really surprised if the like female writers did that one, because that like felt like some weird fetish stuff. Like, that is hardcore, some fetish stuff right there. That was uncomfortable.
I looked it up and it was female writers. This show is remarkable in the sense that it had a female creator as well as a female writing staff. Alicia Silverstone was producer, and by that they gave her some money and said, please get yourself on this show. We need you. Alicia Silverstone was fresh off her career-destroying Batman and Robin. Prior to this film, she had been in Clueless, a spew of movies. She was also in Sweet Valley High, which some of the writers actually had collaborated and worked on Sweet Valley High. So they share a background. So that's possibly how Alicia Silverstone got attached to this project, is that she knew some of the writers. And they were like, come on, girl, you haven't worked in a couple of years. He's like, yeah, but it's any day now that my agent's going to call me and I'm going to get another blockbuster film. And they're like, oh, no, sweetie, did you not hear about Batman and Robin? And she's like, wait, you mean Batman Forever? She's like, no, sweetie, it was Batman and Robin. Because that tanked not only her career. Arnold Schwarzenegger literally retired from movies after that. He was like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm sorry, you guys.
Became our governor?
Wasn't that a great time in California history, Petra?
I just really enjoyed hearing the word governor so often.
Governor was like the best. And I'll say this, listeners, check out the song by Green Day, Governor. It's a good song.
I'll have to ask my mom about it. She likes Green Day.
Oh.
But there is something I want to talk about for a moment.
Okay.
What's the deal with racist grandpa?
Oh, man.
So, can I, like, spoil how it ends real quick before we talk about all of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't remember this, because, again, I watched it during the, like, original airing when I was a kid. I was in, like, early elementary school, like, first, second, third grade. And I'd only seen it fleetingly since then. And so I didn't remember this episode. And the grandfather, he's so super duper overtly racist, like making fun of the Chinese girl. Cause like, oh, they better not let you around any cars. The Chinese can't drive. And, like, it's terrible. And then at the end, he just eats tofu, and everyone's like, okay, well, he ate tofu, so everything's fine now. Everyone's happy, hugs all around, fade to black, Finn. And I'm like, bruh, it's Steve Dolores. I'm sorry, I just had to get that out of the way because it upset me so much. I wrote an entire page on that episode.
We're going to stay on this episode. They missed a key opportunity for this episode, which was called Gray Matters. They could have called this episode Race Face.
Oh my God, Braceface.
It could have done that. And my favorite part of this episode was Sharon. Don't want to talk about it. I'm not racist. Braceface.
I'm just gonna stop there because I feel like every other line in that song would just be slurs.
I just want to say, when Maria, very concerned, very logic and coherently says to Sharon, you need to examine how you responded to your grandfather insulting me and my boyfriend. Sharon, instead of examining, goes to her white friend Dion, and immediately he's like, you're not a racist. Look at all those fun people you hang out with. And she's like, you're right, Dion. I'm not racist. Yeah. And they high five, two white hands together.
That's on my notes. It's literally, she's just like, I know people that aren't white. It's literally impossible for me to be racist. Okay. This episode got me fired up. Can I just read my the ones that I highlighted in my notes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just in the beginning, why is she defending the grandfather? The grandfather is being so terrible to her friends. And she's just like, yeah, but he's grandpa. It's cool. He just does that. And then my next one, going down the list in the order I wrote them as they came up in the episode. So, you were talking about how she has, different friends. And I loved when she's talking to Dion about that, and he's like, oh, you have such and such friend. He's Muslim. Maria is, she's Asian, and she's listing off all that other stuff. And then Dion's just like, and I'm, long pause, adorable. Just
what were you going to say?
Oh, it's great because it's Canadian television, so they get to have overtly queer-coded characters, but
I think eventually he does.
They just refer to themselves as adorable.
I think all of us, maybe, most of us have the older relatives who are a bit, they're not racist, but they have opinions, and you do defend them. You're kind of well, he's older, So,
Grampy.
I always have to deal with Liz's mom, and she says some crazy things sometimes, but she's older, so it is what it is.
Because I have to deal with my family just doing it to me. So I think that helps me not deal with that. Because I just show up to events and they're like, oh, here's Penny. Oh God, I had an aunt one time say that I filled up the family's queer quota. So
what? You have a quota?
I don't know. So it's oh my God, this is 75, but I just yeah.
That is pretty bad.
Quota. I'm like, what the hell does that even mean, my guy?
It's she's got a bingo card or something, and it's fills it out at family events, things like that. And
you don't?
Just mark it off. I imagine Dion is super sassy. At one point, he pokes Braceface Sharon with a needle, and because she
and that's how she gets hooked on heroin.
With a pin when he's sewing her into a dress. The eating disorder episode, it's not that it was handled poorly. I really fucking hate 20-minute eating disorder episodes because it acts like the good advice of friends and family will cure people of their eating disorders. And that's not how that works. That's a lifetime struggle. And it bugs me when you have the DJ. I don't know. Did you ever watch Full House, Petra?
And vaguely, see, I can't make I can't say it, or else you're going to get mad at me again.
Why would I get mad at you?
Because you're going to get upset if I tell you that I remember my mom talking about liking that show as a child.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
That is my entire exposure to Full House.
So there was
my mom being like, I loved that show.
Where teenage girl DJ is decides she's fat in an episode, and she's the only one who thinks that, and so she does just like Sharon Braceface passes out at the fashion show. she passes out on a treadmill. And it's like, oh, it's like, you haven't been eating the last couple of days, have you, sweetheart? You're like, no, here's a plate of spaghetti. All right, I'm better now. And it's and it's like, that's not
a psychological thing you have to work through.
Yeah, and so it's like, good thing we caught that old eating disorder in time.
Okay, this is like, I feel like this is typical for things like that, like very special episodes and school programs and things like that. But I remember being in like middle school and being like very upset with my weight, and like I never even would have considered just like not eating or throwing. Oh, can we throw like trigger warning before this real quick? Sorry.
Trigger warning.
I wouldn't have like considered just like not eating or throwing up after meals or anything, except for there were like shows that had these like episodes talking about eating disorders, and that literally gave me the idea, and I developed an eating disorder.
Same shit.
They don't. All they do is touch the surface. So when you're a stupid ass kid, like all you're left with at the end is like, oh, I am trying to lose like 8 pounds right now. I could just stop eating for a week, and when mom makes me eat, I'll go puke.
Yeah, it's like the whole DARE program. Like, you shouldn't do drugs. Like, what are drugs? Oh, let me tell you about what all drugs.
Yeah, they're like, don't do drugs. Also, just to make sure you don't do drugs, we're going to teach you how to cook meth.
No, my favorite was when I was reading a very serious article about butt chugging. Years ago, where it's like what the kids do is they boil the hand sanitizer to get the alcohol out, and you got to do it like this and stick the tube up their ass, and then.
We never tried it, but you know what I always remember hearing as a kid, which this sounded dangerous enough that we never tried it because we're like, that sounds like you'll get poisoned. I always heard that you should like soak a tampon in vodka and then like use the tampon. Instead of like just sticking a bottle up your ass.
I've done it many times. So
have you done that, Joey? Joey, I think you're the most alcoholic voice on this show.
As I sit here like 3/4 of the way through a drink that was 3/4 whiskey.
I can't perform drunk, so wink, wink. So
if I was sober, I would be. Well, I'm probably just going to make your fans hate me. If I were stone cold sober, I would just be entirely dull. Complaining about the solar cycle and how the fucking sun has been at absolute minimum for so long.
That's really beautiful. If I wish I was on drugs right now.
So, like, I've been, for the past, like, week now, I've been trying to get edibles, like, so bad.
I can make you some.
Yesterday, on my other podcast, we did our 420 special, and that would be like on Eddie's. One of my coworkers, he has one guy that $15, which isn't too bad for like a bag.
I'm just gonna say that. Oh God, let me start gathering things from around the room real quick.
Petra lives in a weed legal state.
All right, brace.
Okay, let's get back to the show. There was a question that Joseph, we were discussing earlier. Is Alicia Silverstone hot? And I wanted us to all give our opinion. Joseph, you go first. Since you brought this up earlier, I want you to defend your point that she is not all that.
So, okay. I first saw like her in like the movie Crush, I think 1992 or like something like that. She was attractive at the time, but I don't know, like, to me, she's not, she was like that girl, that 90s girl, the clueless girl, but like, to me, I was never that into her. Maybe, again, mention it, that she does not have like big old titties, so I do kind of like rank people.
Is that a requirement?
Lower. Yeah.
Big old mommy milkers.
Yeah.
All right. Petra, do you think Alicia Silverstone? I'll go. You look that up.
Oh my god, she looks exactly like my mother. That's weird as shit. No, hard no. Like, hold hold on. Let me. Okay.
I like her hair though.
From an objective standpoint, especially like looking at pictures of her from like during the height of her career. Oh my goodness. I mean, she looks. I'm gonna forward this one to you, Dolores. I just found a picture, and like this photo right here, I'm like, oh my goodness, what a little cutie! Like, I just want to.
What is Robert?
I'm trying to think of something cutesy and super gay, but nothing is popping into my head. Here, okay, so like in this photo, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, that's like super cute. I like this. Like she's just got a look, but like yeah, as far as like personally,
I see it. Look at that, yeah.
Being attracted to her, I'm like, no, that. At least the like more recent photos I'm seeing, I'm like, that's my fucking mom, dude.
Y'all have the same face shape. I see it. I do see that.
Oh no,
like,
seriously, I opened that and I'm like, oh my god, this is like. Oh, it's.
Y'all are from the same part of white people stan or whatever. I think she's gorgeous. I absolutely adored Cher from Clueless when I was a kid. The TV show Clueless, which also is race-face like genre, skinny, beautiful, blonde hair, blue eye, white girl. And I absolutely adore it. I love the clothes. I think a lot of my obsessively trying to meddle in my friends' lives and wear nice clothes comes directly from watching Clueless as a child and seeing Cher as like a model for who you would want to be during that time period of like the Gen X not caring kind of overall vibe, and Clueless kind of like changed that.
As well, like Petra said, like, you know, we do like productions in like Canada, you do have to have that. You have to have certain members that are Canadian, and X-Files, the first 8 seasons, the entire production staff was Canadian because they had to go by those laws of like kind of like, hey, you need 80% of your production staff in Canada.
Can the editing team please overlay the Canadian national anthem just kind of like quietly in the background?
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, just like the South Park version.
Braceface, we're filmed in Canada. Braceface, we have a mountie on stage.
I will say this. Speaking of Silverstone, Clueless, the TV show, she was replaced by a Canadian girl.
Oh, I did not know that. Good job, Joseph. I did not know that at all.
She's Canadian. I forgot her, like,
there was
her name.
Did Alden's... Okay, at least in the way that it's split up with how we were watching it, did Alden's voice actor change in season 3?
I think a lot of them did, because Alicia Silverstone left the project in season 3.
Okay.
And so it may have been that they were switching things up a lot in between season 1. Like season 1 was definitely more preteen oriented. Season 2 is like, we're gonna take a I wanted now you bring up Alden. I wanted to bring him up as the worst crush in all of TV history. He was an absolute
basic bitch.
He was such an asshole. In her first day of high school, when she meets Dion, she's being tortured by a mean girl that he is convinced is going to get him into the music industry. And she is his girlfriend, capital G, hard G girlfriend. And he says, well, I can't defend you, Sharon, because she's like going to be a VJ on Channel 3, eh? And I gotta I'm real sorry, Sharon. I gotta be nice to her, eh? You know,
right
she's gonna get me straight to Toronto.
I don't appreciate you talking about everything that way, eh? All right, you gotta quit talking about the Canadians like that and just making fun.
I'll see you tomorrow, Sharon. But I gotta go eat this bitch out so that she gets me on MTV Canada in Toronto. Toronto's where I gotta be. You know, says she likes him 14, and I gotta do what I gotta do. Eh?
No. Oh. Okay. Speaking of creepy shit. Okay, there is
the dentist.
So obviously we're gonna have to talk about. There's an episode where Maria thinks that the teacher wants to go on a date with her, and for some reason she's super fucking into it. His bike was named something hilarious. I'm like 98% sure his bike was called a Groper 9000.
The Molester 800.
I thought they were like foreshadowing. Oh god, I'm looking for my note because I heard that and I rewound it and listened to it again so I could write it down as they were saying it. Substitute teacher's bike is a Groper 6000. He rides a Groper 6000. The kid was like, "Ooh, he's asking me on a date," and I was like, "Oh no, was that foreshadowing? What the fuck?"
It would explain why Nina's such a bitch. She has no reason to hate everyone, but she's so angry. Poor Nina.
On the Nina thing, I want to say, I know I said fuck Nina earlier. Also, fuck Sharon.
She's the worst.
They're both equal. They are both terrible. They are both horrible. My thing is, I feel like... Oh, goodness. Brain. Oh, I feel like Nina is not... I feel like Nina's not that bad.
She bullied Sharon into an eating disorder.
She's definitely a bitch, but, it seems like you only ever see her really bullying Sharon. You don't see her just general bullying. And it seems that Sharon and Nina bully each other back and forth pretty heavily. I feel like Nina's not that bad. She just really fucking hates Sharon because Sharon is a piece of shit and Nina's a piece of shit and Sharon is just horrible and never grows and no matter what happens in the next episode, she's just like, oh hey, yeah, let's just reset and I'm still the same bitch.
Sharon is the worst main character in TV history almost.
I was thinking this would have been so much better and more successful if it had been an ensemble cast. Had an episode from Maria's point of view and just generally Sharon not being the main focus every episode.
Maria is probably the best character in the entire series.
She's wonderful. She's the one who is basically Sharon, you're acting like a moron. And Dion's the one who really, he says it hard. Maria always kind of dances around it and and poor Maria just kind of gets shoved into the background as ethnic friend. It's really unfortunate. This well-developed, fun, interesting, smart character just gets relegated to this status where you don't know what's going on in her life or anything from episode to episode. It's all about Sharon. I got braces. Oh, boy.
Why do they try to make it out oh, she got braces, now she's ugly? Is that ever been a thing? In seriousness?
I've never liked TV shows or movies whenever they make braces seem like this ugly thing. Is that a thing? Or girls turn off by braces ever?
Well, if you watch enough pornography, braces are. If you watch pornography, it's kind of a boon. If you got braces, you can be at everything.
I'm just I'm imagining this oh god, this new canon, this head canon where Sharon is Piper Perry.
Oh no! Blake, editing team, I need you to edit in Braceface's head over Piper Perry's famous photo.
Oh my goodness, yes, the one with the 5 dudes behind her.
Yes, Perry's had a really hard life. It's really fucking terrible. And I think Sharon is that girl, always been attractive, always been popular. But, oh man, I had braces for a few years. It was so hard. I had to have rubber bands. Spinach was in my teeth. And everybody made fun of me. It was just terrible. You have no idea how hard it was for me. But yeah, that was Sharon's whole thing, is that she was not unattractive. She was not unpopular. She just, kind of self-centered and made herself think that. So
the fact that she got braces and she was oh, Alden's not gonna date me now. It's that makes no sense. No.
Like, let me just say, as somebody who was once a child, and also as somebody who likes girls.
No way. Go on.
I was just saying, let me just say, as somebody who likes girls and also was once a child, you know, when I was in like middle school and high school, I couldn't give a fuck less if anyone had braces. Like, it's the exact same thing as the trope of like people with glasses, like with that, like being an unattractive thing. Yes, I never understood that because I wear glasses now, but I remember when I was in middle school, I tried to fake an eye exam to be bad so I could get glasses because I thought they were a cute accessory. But I basically made myself so incredibly blind because I was a dumb kid that they were like, okay, you're obviously faking this. And it was like, okay, but I want glasses. They're super cute.
Cute. Air horn.
That's like one of my favorite moments. Have you guys seen the movie another teen movie?
Yes. Not Another Teen Movie came out around 2001, and it was making fun of the tropes in teen shows and movies.
It's the best scene ever when like they had the makeover scene. Legit, they took off the girl's glasses. They shook her head. That was it.
And it's like, oh, she's got glasses. There's paint on her overall. She's disgusting. And I am legit somebody who is not attractive in glasses. And I have a story about this to prove.
Bullshit. I am interrupting you. Dolores, I purposely interrupted you to call bullshit. Because you think you are unattractive in lots of different situations. And let me tell you that you're fucking hot, okay? Your entire life is a hot girl summer. Okay, fuck off.
I'm got braces, Petra. No one will ever like me.
Oh wait, you got braces? Never mind. No. You're gross.
You're disgusting with braces.
But no, I wanted to talk about Sharon's gay ass little siblings that are very gay coded. Yes, I wanted to,
especially Adam.
Oh, Adam! He's like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out and get a burrito.
Can I say before? I would love to hear your take on this, but I have one thing to say about Adam. That boy is a bottom.
Yes, he is a preach. He is a bottom.
How do you guys not see this? There's this weird sexual tension between the mom and like the big boy. Adam, you said?
I'm sorry, what?
There's a big sexual tension between the mom and like Adam.
What?
Yeah. It's legit heavy. Just like the first scene, like
I'm sorry, Dolores. I'm gonna have to hang up now.
Oh, you can't hang up. You can't. I need you. The show needs you. Can you give an example, and so we can look this up?
It's like one of those scenarios. I know they're not like stepmom and like stepson, but it's like, oh my God, stepson, what are you doing? But no,
I'm stuck in the tofu.
Stuck in the dryer.
In the dryer, stepson. But it's like almost like that same thing with these two. The dad's like not there. The boy's like what, 6'5" or like something.
Okay, just because you're 6'5" doesn't mean your mom wants to fuck you.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe if you're 6'5", your mom wants to fuck you automatically. What?
Joey's sick because he's 5'9", and his mom never wanted to fuck him, and so he's only out 6'5".
I'm also 5'9", and it makes me feel weirdly tall.
Come on. They were like totally doing something.
I disagree.
So Adam was definitely gay, or because of his height, he was fucking his mom. And
I'm leaning towards gay. Like, okay, the only romance I care about in this entire show is I want to see Adam and Dion just like adopt 3 children from like in some like horrible city in the flyover state. No offense, Texan.
We're not a flyover state.
I know, your third coast. I was just teasing because I have to give you a hard time.
I wanted to talk about Mommy Nearest, which was an episode that very near and dear to my heart because I was the same age as Sharon was supposed to be when this was airing. And Sharon accidentally accesses a pornography website when she Googles Little Red Riding Hood. And I was a horny ass fucking 14-year-old. And this happened to me when I was trying to Google what the hell a glitterous was when it was actually a clitoris. And that's when I discovered pornography and that magical summer. Because in 7th grade science, me and another boy had heard that Eminem song that says, "You kids don't even know what a clitoris is, do you?" And we didn't. And we're looking up in a back of a science book with a G. We're like, what's a glitterous? I don't know. Let's look up G. And then we say, excuse me, Miss Science teacher, can you tell us what a glitterous is? And I'm like, is it a made-up word? She's like, yes, it is a made-up word. Please do not ask me what that is again. And on the phone,
I'm not paid enough to deal with it.
And on the phone. On the phone with the boy that summer, he's like, it's not clitoris, it's clitoris. Go ask Jeeves, Dolores. Whatever. So I asked Jeeves.
Did you say ask Jeeves?
That was a search engine pre-Google, or like it was competing with Google. Yeah. So I had to ask Jeeves what a clitoris was, and then Jeeves was happy to show me, like, rightio, Dolores. And I was like, whoa. I'm like, I've never seen that before. And I'm like, I guess I just better do some more research. And then I developed a porn addiction. And Sharon, the exact same thing happens to her. She looks up Little Red Riding Hood. She's like, whoa!
I don't remember the part where she develops a porn addiction.
No, she didn't develop a porn addiction because her fucking killjoy of a mom, the next day,
content blocker.
Yeah, her mom went through, and good on this show for teaching kids how to hide their pornography from their parents, because the mom was like, I checked my search engine there, little girl, and I saw what you were looking at. It's okay to be curious, but I've blocked every device in the house, including the television, and you'll never see anything again.
Yeah, she was so super cool, but then, like, at the end reveal, she's like, I put a fucking padlock on the entire world.
Like, and I'm going to drive around and follow you and make sure you don't, like... Yeah. Because Sharon was ready to hoe out with, like, added gross print.
I feel like I got kind of the, like, 90s, early aughts family computer experience. I grew up super rural. And when I say super rural, I mean the nearest town was 40 miles away.
Yeah.
So we had dial-up. In fact, my mother still lives in the house I grew up in. She got anything, I don't know what the hell they have now, but she got something other than dial-up for the first time within the past year, because it was the first time it was offered. She got like DSL or something. Like, I remember my neighbors having satellite internet and they had Wi-Fi, and like me trying to just like look up things because I'm a curious teen. I had a Nintendo DSi. And I was like, I didn't share a bedroom with anyone, but I had bunk beds for some stupid reason. And so if I got up on top of the bunk bed and like tucked myself into this one corner in the right position, and only at night when the sun was down, I could catch the unsecured neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Nice.
And sit there and use it. That Nintendo DSi taught me a lot as a preteen and teen myself.
So Sharon's mom locks down the house. Like, Sharon cannot access. She looked at one porn video. Now her mom is on her ass. And Sharon is like doing this thing where she's like, Tony. Tony is her brother Adam's quote unquote friend. You know that him and Tony are fucking.
Yeah, like, they just have sleepovers and it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and they go eat burritos because they want
bisexual.
Yeah, they eat burritos because they're vaguely phallic shaped.
Yeah, like that's his code with Tony. At one point, Oh, like, okay, so in one of the first, I think it's probably the first episode, Sharon's braces can pick up frequencies. And this is Sharon's magical power in the show, if we haven't covered this, is that her braces can do things. Like, and and
those things are whatever the plot requires.
Yes. So an example is that she locks into her brother Adam's conversation with Tony. It's like, hey, you want to get some burritos? Yeah, I'll get a burrito. It's like, we had tofu tonight, and it fucking sucked. And so Sharon's braces can access conversations. At one point, she opens a locker to read her best friend's diary. And then they forget. Like, I'll watch like 4 or 5 episodes, and it won't happen. And then all of a sudden, click, 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 it's like her braces go crazy. Like, for example, Dion has a dress made of Pop Tops from soda cans. And she goes, this is when I really, really fucking hate Sharon. Mean Girl of the Week says, can you go steal that dress from Dion for me? I just want it to wear it on the show that I'm going on because, like, it'll make him famous, which is a lie. And Sharon goes to steal this dress from a girl that's been torturing Dion. And her braces go off, and it ruins the dress because the dress is made of metal. And it's like, it's been like a ton of episodes since the last time her braces had done anything stupid. Kind of give an overview of what Braceface is. So Braceface is a show featuring normal, average 14-year-old Sharon Spitz, who is about to go into the 8th grade. She has 2 brothers, Josh and Adam, and Adam is her older big brother who just had a growth spurt. And Josh is her and Josh is her younger little brother who is also mega gay and plays the piano. He is voiced by Micheal Cera, and you can hear in little baby Micheal Cera in this, when especially in some of the phrases he says, he's like, you'll never understand the complexities of Chopin. And if you think about it in Micheal Cera's grown man voice, it seems like dialogue they would have written for Micheal Cera. So you have Sharon living with her mom, who's a single mom, who is a therapist, which factors into her mom being a good mom, and her dad, who he like plays guitar or something that keeps them on the road.
The Sharon's dad, he's weird. He's like, it's like Sharon's dad in the very beginning of the show, I felt like, I was like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. And then you get a little ways into it, and I'm like, oh, wait, this guy's really cool, and he cares about his kids, and like, he's blah, blah, blah. But then, like, you get to know the character more. And then I circled back around to him being a piece of shit. Because it's like, he has all the opportunity to be there and have a life with his children. And he talks about how they're the most important thing and this and that. And then just, they are his last priority. Like, if he happens to be in town and has the time, sure, he's there, like, doing things with the kids. But other than that, it's just like, hey, I'm doing rock star things. Chill with your mom. She's responsible.
Yeah, he's got single dad syndrome, where it's like, I could only just be with my kids if my mean old wife would let me. And probably makes up just tons of excuses on why he can't be there, which is like a single dad real life trope. You know, like, you want, like, they act like they want to be around their kids, but they will pick the gig or the job or everything else before they pick their children. And that's a real problem. And then when the next lady comes around, they'll like dramatize what a struggle it is to be a single dad. But I wanted to talk about the period episode. You don't really ever get to see this in media.
Especially at like this time, what was it, 2003 or like so? It was good to have that female voice to speak to other females. And they don't have that, honestly.
I think there should have been more special episodes like this because... You know, a lot of girls don't, I mean, you know, you understand, but you don't get it.
This show kind of said, you know what? It's okay it happens. It is what it is, you know?
I'm here. It's that time. Get the fuck away from me. I will bleed on you.
But it's literally me this entire weekend. So it's what really bugs me though is, okay, growing up, that was not a thing that anybody wanted, and like sometimes a trope in that Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret family of like, oh boy, I got it. I'm grown up and a woman now. Nobody I knew ever said that or thought that. I was really mad. I was really mad when I got mine, and like,
I just wanted to agree with you. I don't remember anyone ever having like that feeling. And exactly like you were saying, like, hello, Margaret, it's me, God. Well, hello,
Margaret. It's me,
well, anyway,
God.
hello, God, it's me, Margaret. Well, I'm over here like, hello, Margaret, it's me, God. And
bitch, you gotta bleed on your dwarves, girl. You better get home.
From my point of view, like, I don't remember anyone ever being excited about it. It was just like, oh, cool, like, life is already getting scary and confusing, and now there's this extra thing to deal with.
We have not talked about this yet. What is our opinion about the theme song?
It's fire. That shit is fire. That shit is fire.
The theme song, Braceface. How did it go? Damn.
Hi, friends. And like all that, it's
teenage. Don't want to talk about it. Boyfriend, it gets complicated. We're gonna die in the end, and it's a super catchy theme song.
It's catchy.
Try singing it. You try singing it because I have forgotten the lyrics all of a sudden.
I'm the same way. I think that shit is fire, and I can't remember how the fuck it goes.
It's a okay song. Not my favorite one.
Just imagine your favorite song is the theme from a like early aughts Canadian children's
my favorite song from like ever is like Braceface theme song. Play it.
Alexa, play Braceface theme song.
Oh man, would that be something?
Tells me I've been dreaming of someone who was never real. Seems I've changed 1,000 ways. I wish I looked the way I feel. Braceface! My life is complicated. Boyfriends don't want to talk about it. Teenage, I work it out in the end. Braceface!
Yeah, it's not like a great song. It's repetitive.
Joseph, did you have any other girl media from around this time that you enjoyed?
Sabrina, I was watching that. I think it was like Charmed was like at its peak. I was watching a lot of Charmed.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was like the closest we came to a girl who had a figure. And so that's it. Like, she wasn't fat. And like, I love Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I'm like, hey, she actually looks like a normal sized person and not these tiny stick figure type girls. Yes. And that was my issue with Braceface, was like when it premiered, I'm like, oh geez, man, can we just like one fat girl on TV? So I can, like, the closest way was Dodie on As Told by Ginger. And of course they made her like the sad one. Like, Dodie's never gonna have a virginity episode. Like, oh boy, I lost my virginity, Ginger. Like, never, like.
Let me just say that I was heavily invested into As Told by Ginger. I was going to bring that up.
What's this, like, show?
I thought it was just, oh god, I watched that shit over and over and over.
Can you describe As Told by Ginger?
Sweet baby.
Yes.
And she was just like with her little nasally voice and just like, and like that's just that is her voice. It's just like, it just, okay, It's Told by Ginger. For the record, if nobody has figured out why the hell I'm here. I am a huge animation nerd. I'm not even picky. I love horrible children's cartoons, like what we're talking about. I'm into, like, equally shitty anime. Nothing good quality. I only like absolute trash. But, like, oh my god, like, as told by Ginger, the Wild Thornberries, like, that was my shit.
The juxtaposition, as told by Ginger, which was premiered a year before Braceface, they had a budget. It had a long run on Nickelodeon. It always showed it because it was such a great production. The characters wore different clothes. They, and it was beautifully made. And Macy Gray did the theme song. And then the people who were making Braceface were like, we can do that. We can do that. I want to talk about the animation on Braceface. Absolutely atrocious. It gets a little bit better, but the first season is hard to watch.
That's what happens with a lot of, like, animations. Remember Family Guy, the first season was, like, really bad looking. Just because they have to, like, they transfer it to, like, Japan or, like, China, and they bring it back. It comes up.
This is like Flash. This was made like a Saskatchewan, like, a fucking sweatshop using it like native children. It was really fucking bad. And eventually season two and 3, it gets a little bit better. There is one particular scene where Alden walks behind Alden. Like, they're sitting in the locker room, and Alden just walks behind Alden. And it's like, are you not seeing this? Like, who edited this show? Because, like, if we're doing the podcast and Petra sort of walking behind Petra right now, I'd hope that Blake would see it and edit that out. So, Blake, I need you to put Petra walking behind Petra, because it was just so poor, and all the characters had the same angular face. It's just part of animation is not, especially children's animation, is not valued, and
it's not.
And that was an issue when I was a little kid. I would get big mad when cartoons would just run the same. Yeah, it would be 40 episodes in the same episodes, and it's like, when are you going to give me new episodes? And then I was reading something. Like, when I was a kid, it's like, oh, well, children don't know when it's a rerun. I'm like, yes, they do. And I was 8 when I read that in, like, TV Guide. I'm like, yes, I know when it's a rerun, and I want you to make me new shows. Braceface had the same issue. Like, 6 seasons or 3 seasons, depending on where you lived. Hell, there may be some, like, part of Nebraska that still hasn't had all the braces, and there's another podcast. When are we getting all the episodes?
Dolores. What? I thought we all agreed to pretend Nebraska doesn't exist.
Well, I'm bringing Nebraska is coming out. Coming out.
Oh my god. Okay.
So, y'all, before we close out this episode, I like what Braceface did for, like, the female viewers. They Braceface was, again, is a dumb, like, cartoon, but I thought they, like, brought the stuff forefront that other cartoons did not do, represented, like, female viewers in, like, a good way, which I loved. Really progressive for that, like, time period. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's really funny, as we had talked, me and Blake talked about how, like, the characters, when they're not talking, they just stop moving, and it's like just like, but da-da-da, and it's just really poor. Everyone's got a lazy eye. Like, they just, like, eyeballs go in different directions, and just like,
oh my god. That one screenshot I sent you where she just literally, she's not cross-eyed, her eyes are facing outwards in opposite directions. And, like, it's not even like they have Sharon in the background at this point. Like, it's a shot where she is taking up at least, like, her head is taking up at least 75% of the real estate on screen. And her eyes are facing slightly upward and out in opposite directions.
Now, what if this show? What if this show hadn't been about a girl with braces, but about a girl with a lazy eye that had to wear an eye patch throughout her last year of middle school in order to fix her eyes?
What if it was a show about a girl who was just in a full body cast and couldn't speak, and she had a feeding tube, but they still made her go to class?
Oh boy!
She's just quietly in the back of the room, and you just hear like, boop, boop. Like she never says anything. Nobody interacts with her. She's just in the back. Boop, boop.
Quadriplegic.
just do that. You two talk as long as you want. I'll just keep booping in the background.
Lazy eye. It gets complicated, lazy eye. I got an eye patch today. So she has to have this like contraption on her head to fix her eyeball. All right, guys, this has been 30-Year-Old Teenagers Podcast. We covered early 2000s hidden gem. Sorry, Joey wants to interject with Melissa Explains It All. What is this, Joseph?
It's Joan Hart's a book. Read it, y'all. It's pretty good.
Oh, let me reach over onto my bookshelf here. Let me also plug a book. This is Professional Idiot by Steve-O.
Let's end the episode.
I know this one. Okay.
No more promoting your fake products and made-up books.
Again, like another product to like bring up. Purified water, it's best. All right.
This is the 30-Year-Old Teenagers Podcast. We covered early teen 2000s show Braceface, a show way ahead of its time with animation from like 1900 on a budget made up of Monopoly game tokens from 1998 and no boardwalk. And so this has been Petra, Joseph, and this is Dolores. And we are signing off. Petra, you have been wonderful. Bye-bye.